No, it does not involve being in the dark while floating in water.
Yeah. So, in many occasions, people are actually mistaking deprivation tanks with hyperbaric chambers, and actually some other forms of therapy as well. But a hyperbaric chamber, you're actually in a chamber like this. This is our medical grade chamber, where you are in the chamber. The chamber is pressurized with ambient air. So this chamber pulls ambient air from the room to pressurize the chamber, and you're breathing 100% pure medical grade oxygen. Versus a float tank where you're actually floating in heavy salinated water in a dark vessel, and it's called a deprivation tank or a float tank.
Myth number 2, HBOT is a new experimental therapy.
Well, actually, hyperbaric oxygen therapy in a rudimentary form has been used since the 1600s. And it just has developed with technology over the past few centuries to the point where we have chambers like this medical grade chamber and our mild hyperbaric chamber that have been developed at this point in 2025.
Myth number 3, there is no research to support the use of HBOT.
Which is patently false. Actually, just within the decade from 2011 to 2020, there were over 6,500 research articles written and over 230 clinical trials just in that decade alone. And actually now in 2025, research is escalating because they're finding greater efficacy and more conditions that hyperbaric oxygen therapy can address.
Myth number 4, HBOT is not safe.
If you are going to a clinic that is certified by the fire department, such as ours, we have a medical doctor in place who does our intakes and oversight of treatment, and we have trained hyperbaric technicians. Safety and caution are the greatest allies as far as treatment. And we're also dedicating our treatments to the individual. They're not cookie cutter treatments. Every single person who comes into our clinic, we take a thorough health history and we develop a hyperbaric program that is specific to that individual who's coming in to see us.
Myth number 5, there are many contradictions to the use of HBOT.
They're opposed to what you might see on the internet. There's really only a few contraindications. Most of the contraindications are, again, it's on a case-by-case basis. There may be some conditions where one form of asthma, for instance, is contraindicated, but another form might be beneficial. Same thing with COPD, for instance. If you're in early stage COPD, hyperbaric oxygen therapy is indicated. If you're in more advanced stages where the body is unable to synthesize oxygen very well, then hyperbarics becomes a contraindication. And there's actually only 2 absolute no-goes in a hyperbaric chamber. So the absolute no-goes in the hyperbaric chamber are if you have a pneumothorax, and a pneumothorax is a collapsed lung or punctured lung. Cannot put somebody in a hyperbaric chamber, it is contraindicated. The other one is any kind of barotrauma. So that can be actually anywhere from you have a virus or a flu, you are very congested, that's a contraindication to getting in the chamber, as well as a barotrauma that occurs from, say, a punctured eardrum. And then again, somewhere down the line, when those conditions, those injuries have healed, down the line, you are capable of putting somebody in a hyperbaric chamber, but not in the acute stages.
Myth number 6, HBOT is an invasive treatment.
Oh, actually, absolutely not. Quite the opposite. So hyperbaric oxygen therapy is, in a nutshell, is the use of pressure, atmospheric pressure. That is the big healer, where it reduces inflammation. And then we are introducing either concentrated or medical grade oxygen to the system and the cells. And it carries the nutrients, including oxygen, obviously, to areas it was not able to get into because the inflammatory process was present in that area. So it's able to carry nutrients. The reality is it is not only non-invasive, it is an all-natural treatment, and most people actually, their response to the treatment is, well, it feels like a big hug.
Myth number 7. HBOT chambers are like MRIs. Small spaces, noisy, and you can't move.
So hyperbaric chambers, it's a very common question. Is a hyperbaric chamber like an MRI? Well, an MRI is in a very small space. You aren't able to move at all. It's noisy. Those things are disconcerting, particularly for somebody who has any form of anxiety. So this chamber, our OxyHealth 420 chamber, this chamber actually is 4 feet in diameter. It is 8 feet long. It has 3 windows in it. We have an intercom system to be able to communicate with somebody in the interior of the chamber. And while you're in the chamber, it's actually set up like your bedroom. So there's a mattress that's in there. You have your own linens, you have your own blanket, your own pillow, and you're able to move around within the chamber as much as you like in order to make yourself comfortable while you're in there. The additional thing is you're able to, in this particular chamber, because we're using ambient air to pressurize the chamber, you're actually able to bring in reading materials, a book, a magazine, Sudoku, puzzles. We've had people playing cards and forms of board games that we can allow to get into the chamber. So you can entertain yourself while you're in there as well. So it's not boring.
Myth number 8. I am claustrophobic. I can't get into the chamber.
Well, again, the truth is that anxiety levels are different for everybody. What we do, and we encourage people to do, is if you feel like you may have an adverse reaction with anxiety getting into the chamber, is first of all, we will invite people to come in before they commit to treatment and actually get in the chamber and without the chamber running, and we'll close the door and we'll just give them the experience of this is what it feels like to be in the chamber. And again, you're actually talking about a space that's 4 feet in diameter, has windows, is lit. You can read and do other things in the chamber, as we talked about a moment ago.
Myth number 9. It is uncomfortable in an HBOT chamber.
Again, something that's not true. This is for a lot of people who come in. There's a couple of things that actually make it very comfortable. One is actually the fact that you cannot have electronics in the chamber is an advantage. We've had people come in, they're like, it's fantastic because I have to leave my phone or leave my laptop off and out of the chamber, and I can get in the chamber. It's a nice quiet space. The only thing that you hear in the chamber really is the humidifier, which bubbles gently in the background. But you can move around. You can actually make this your bedrooms, so to speak. Most people actually nap while they're in the chamber during treatment.
Myth number 10. It's boring because you can't bring your electronics in the chamber.
But during that time, while you're in the chamber, you can bring in a book and read. You can play cards. We do have the ability in this chamber to actually double dive or put 2 people in at the same time. We've done that numerous times, and they're able to play some, what we can allow in the chamber, some board games, cards, cribbage matches, gin rummy tournaments happen inside this chamber. So it can be whatever you like it to be for your experience, which is I want to rest and I'm going to go to sleep or rest, or I'm going to be engaged and I'm going to read a book, or we've had people who are professors from the local college or kids in school where they'll actually bring their homework. Now that's kind of like pencil and paper homework because we can't do electronics or anything in there. But anything that is on paper, we can allow in the chamber.